Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My voice is cracked. It's gone. I'm excited about the game. I need to get together, get some tea. But this is Super Bowl week. Quintin Mikell. I'm Jason Avant. Q, say what's up to the people.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? I'm a little nasally too, man. I think we've just been partying too much, man. We've been so excited for this new championship week, and I'm feeling it too a little bit, man. But we're
Yeah,
gonna push through.
I don't necessarily know if it's the championship week or me up dancing salsa to 3 o'clock in the morning. I think it's the latter. But this
That's
is
awesome.
the Q&A podcast on Inside the Birds YouTube channel. We want to say thank you again to a successful year and all the fans that are tuning in, to Adam, to Jeff, to Josh, Evan, everyone that's responsible on Inside the Birds, and all the fans that are tuning in for all the questions that you guys have shared with us and tuned in with throughout the year. I met about 3 people over the weekend that came up to me in Parsippany, New Jersey, talking about they watch the Q&A show like faithfully. So thank you guys again for tuning in. This week is the most important week of the year, the biggest stage in American sports for sure. There's only a few things that get more hype than this: is the World Cup, the Olympics, and then the Super Bowl. So in American sports, this is the game, and our team is playing in the game. Q, let's talk about that for just a minute. Like, you have had the experience of playing in a Super Bowl. You were on that team that played the Patriots in the Super Bowl in 2004. Like, what do you remember about that game and all of the hype that encompassed the game? Did that kind of affect the players and their mentality? Like, talk about like how big it is from a hype standpoint.
Yeah, man. I mean, even back then, and the game, the way it is now, and the hype surrounding the game is exponential compared to them. But even back then, it was insane. I remember the media coverage was on a level I'd never seen before. Now, I was coming from Boise State, small school. This was my second year in the league, so I wasn't used to any of this stuff. But the media days, they were a lot of fun. Um, so many media people, personalities. I mean, I'm talking from like all over the world. There are people from, in Mexico. There are people from other countries coming to do media, and I'd never seen anything like that. I didn't realize how big this game was until that Super Bowl experience, and it was fun, man. And around that time was when T.O. was on the team, and he had the injury at the end of the regular season, and the questions were, is he going to be coming back? We had that whole deal going on. We had superstars on that team. You had Tom Brady and his young Tom Brady, young Bill Belichick, starting their dynasty out. So it was a lot of different plot lines. Of course, we had, Freddie Mitchell and the stuff that he did, and maybe we'll talk about that later. But it was just a great, great experience. And the way that, I wouldn't say the way, but the one thing that really, really, besides the media, that caught me off guard, like outside of the game, was that everywhere we went, like we had a helicopter in the air following the buses wherever we went. It was like full on police escorts, guys with AR-15s. I mean, like I really felt like we were moving like the president at that point, man. It was the craziest thing I ever seen,
Oh,
and
wow.
I just remember thinking how cool it was just to feel that important as being part of a team.
Oh, that's nuts. That is nuts, right? That's nuts. And all the great stuff that the team accomplished that year in order to make it to the Super Bowl. The media day now has taken on to be a circus. There is, stages and DJ Khaled and all types of things that are going on. That the NFL does a great job with production and marketing and make that event really, really special. And the players have to make themselves available to the media for so long on media. Was it Monday? Media Monday. Today's that day. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, opening night. They're calling it
Oh, yeah,
opening night.
opening night. Out of all the stars on the team, you got T.O., you got Donovan, you got Westbrook, you got Brian Dawkins, you got Troy Vincent, you got Trotter, you got Curse, you got a bevy of NFL stars on one team. You got a bunch of dudes, right? And the dude
Mm-hmm.
that sticks out the most is Freddie Mitchell. What in the world was going on with that situation?
Yeah, Freddie. I love Freddie. Freddie's a great person. He's actually one of the first older like veteran players that kind of took me under his wing when I came here. And great
Okay.
guy, great guy. But I even me as a non-starter, I just remember like, Fred, what the hell are you doing, man? Like in my head, I'm
Yeah.
like, it's almost like it's like when a bunch of fans come to the Eagles home game in the playoffs, right? And the first thing they all do is they take their jersey or their T-shirt and they put it on the Rocky statue. And then what
Yeah.
happens? They go out there and get their team goes out there and gets their ass whooped. Well, this it's kind of the same idea with Freddie. Like he got into this mode where he was like it was almost like he was a wrestling character. Like he was just so over the top with all the antics, and it was like he almost got sent home that week because he was talking so much trash and doing these interviews, and you're just poking the bear. Like we don't need the New England Patriots to be any more angry at us than they are. We don't need to talk trash. And Andy, Andy is huge on that.
Andy
Like,
does not, he hates
don't
that.
give him. Oh my God, don't give him no ammunition, right? And he just kept talking and talking, and it was just, he almost got sent home, man. He almost got sent home.
That
It was
is funny
crazy.
stuff, man. You know what it is sometimes, like, but Freddie is still living rent free in people's minds and
Yeah.
heads because of those things, right? Not because of necessarily play, but people remember Freddie Mitchell. They remember for 4th and 26, but they
Hmm.
also remember him for his antics, like time and the People's Belt and that time at the Super Bowl. So it may have been a great marketing strategy looking at it, 20 years later. You,
Oh yeah, no
you
doubt.
never know.
It worked for him.
It
And I'm
worked
I'm gonna,
for him.
I'm gonna tell you this too. Like a lot of people don't know. Before he got hurt in college, before he broke his leg, he was one of the baddest. Like I'm talking one of the baddest receivers out there. Like he was fast, he was agile, and then he broke, he broke his femur, which is very dangerous. He could have lost his leg, could have lost his life.
Yeah.
But even for that, for him to be able to come back from that and still get drafted and still, play a few years in the league,
Yeah.
and now still, like you said, still getting paid off of that
Yeah.
Super Bowl run. He's doing
Boy,
fine, man.
boy, you look up and you see Freddie on the middle of the field in the Super Bowl with Justin Bieber. I'm like, how the hell did Freddie get on the Super Bowl halftime show next to Justin Bieber? Not Bieber, no, that was it wasn't Bieber, but what was it? What was the guy? What was his name? Oh my gosh. In Minneapolis. He was diddling
Oh,
on the field. Justin Timberlake.
Timberlake,
Yeah. So I'm like, come on, man. So that type of stuff can occur. All right, Q, you and I talk about you. This is a big game for you. The Michael family as a whole will be in Phoenix for the game.
I'm excited, man.
Excited. That's a great time.
Yeah. So the way it started, so we're out here in Boise, and we're fairly close, and we try to go to an away game every year, and so we went to the Eagles versus Cardinals game. We talked about it on the show, and I went down there, and we had such a great time. The kids had a blast. We went to the Grand Canyon. We did all this cool stuff, and at the time, I mentioned like to my kids, I'm like, hey, if the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl, we're gonna go to the Super Bowl. And like in my head, I'm like, they're gonna make it. But then I'm like, wait, what did I just say? And like when I make a promise to the kids, like I don't never want to back off of it. And so they getting closer. I'm like, oh no, I gotta start looking at tickets. And sure enough, the Eagles in the Super Bowl, so we're going down. I promised the kids, so I'm gonna bite the bullet and I'm gonna get down there and drive down there and have a good time, man.
Have a
So I'm
good time.
excited for it. It's gonna be so much fun. I know you're gonna be down there. Um, I I've never I've been to one Super Bowl before outside of being a player. I went to one in Indianapolis a few years ago. So, but this will be my first time as a fan, and I'm excited, man. I think it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing is that I've been twice. I went to when the Eagles won in Minneapolis. That was a great time. I was there for the Eagles pep rally. I was one of the alumni that they had, interact with the fans, throw out stuff, and they did a great job of keeping us involved in it. And so I'll be doing a lot of those things this weekend. A lot of alumni appearances, tailgates, NFL honors, a bunch of different things that I got going on throughout Freedom Mortgage, Radio Row. You guys will see me there with the Inside the Birds platform, also with NBC Sports and Fox and a few other things that got going. So I'll be there. I wish I was cool enough to be able to take the kids. But since I got to do a lot of stuff throughout the week, it's going to be tough for me to drag them around to each one of those things. So I'm looking forward to it. The first time I went, I was in Minneapolis, and the second time I went, I was in Miami seeing the Chiefs. So one time I
Oh,
was decked out in all Eagles gear because of my heart, and then I was decked out in Chiefs gear because of Andy, and I played for the Chiefs. So this game is very, very tough for me. You see where I'm going, so don't question that. It's just that I do not, I wanted the Bengals to win so I can just be full on F the Bengals, let's go birds. This is tough for me. 9 out of my 10 years in the league, I played for Andy. And I still talk to Andy today, right? He may
Mhm.
ask me something or question or whatever it is. This play reminded me of you of this, or we this play right here we put in, like we showed the teach tape of when you did it back in 2015. Like certain things, like so he keeps in contact. So there's a special spot. So I want the Eagles to win, but I don't want Andy to lose. So I'm in a place where no matter what situation, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to fully enjoy it the way that I want to enjoy it. So it's there. So that's
I
that's where I am.
I get you, man. I feel the same
Yeah.
way too, but um, it's definitely got to be, especially with you still in communication with Andy so much. It's got to be tough, man. I know it's gonna be a
It,
rough one.
it'll be good. The Eagles are the better team. They're a superior team. And we're gonna get into that, right? So no matter like what situation I have going on personally, like I'm in Philadelphia, Philly's my heart, and Philadelphia has the better football team. Like they have the better football team. And we'll talk about the ways that the Eagles can dominate this football game. And we can talk about how this game could be a miracle for Kansas City. It's only a few ways that Kansas City can win this football game, and if we can steer away from those things will be fine. Um, yeah, let's keep it moving right in there.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
So yeah, so give me give me your best analysis of this game. Like, what do you think strengths and weaknesses on each team? What's an X factor? What's one thing that's going to help one team succeed over another? Like, when you're looking at this game, you analyze this game, what do you see?
Well, like I said, the Eagles are superior, and we talked about this last show. In every position group except for the quarterback. I think the quarterback is Mahomes is Jalen is playing at an MVP level, but Mahomes is Mahomes, and because of his record, because of his stat line, and because of his Super Bowl pedigree, you have to get the edge to Kansas City in that regard. Travis Kelsey is going to go down as top 5 tight ends that ever played this football game. And Goddard is a young, emerging tight end that is going to be a Pro Bowler multiple times over in his career. So I believe that Kansas City has that advantage. Every other position group, you may make the case for linebacker with Gay and a few things, but every other position group, the Eagles are better than. Offensive line, we're better than. Defensive line, we're better than. Corner, we're better than. Safety, we're better than. Linebackers is pretty close, but I think we're better than. Like maybe their kicker kickers are pretty close. Booker, and he's had a down season, right? So the
Yeah.
punter may be better than our punter. Like it's
Yeah.
not, it's not like the receiver group. Our receiver core is better. They're revolving door. They have a lot of guys that they can use. Our running back room is better, right? The way Gainwell is playing, the way Miles Sanders is playing, the way Boston Scott's playing, right? They got McKinney and Pacheco, which is a good combo, but they're not at the same level. So when you look at everything, our talent is superior to their team. It just is. So that's number one. Do you want to interject anything before I continue to expound?
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, the only other, I think the linebacker position, like you said, is probably um, the one spot where it's kind of iffy. But I know where you're heading with this, so I'm go ahead and continue.
Oh yeah. So that's where like the Eagles can dominate like the game is through talent. So here's the shakiest area, and we talked about this last week, I believe. I don't necessarily know, I can't remember. But I know I talked about it on a couple different platforms. Is that the Eagles experience coaching is so drastic in comparison. The Chiefs experience in coaching is so drastic in comparison to the Eagles. When you talk about Spagnuolo, when you talk about Dave Toub, and you talk about Andy, even as an offensive coordinator / head coach, right? You're talking almost 60 years of experience. It's like 56 or something like that. Like because there are some years where Spagnuolo went over to be a defensive analyst or stuff like that, but overall defensive, coordinator, it's like 50, it's almost 60 years to Clay, special teams coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, and all like our guys, it's like 6 years. So if you look at that, that's pretty drastic. That's pretty drastic. And devising a game plan and understanding this and having, some Super Bowl pedigree within the coaching ranks
Mm-hmm.
is definitely an advantage Chiefs.
Yeah.
And you wonder the times that the players, if this game is close, the Chiefs will win. And that's what usually coaching does.
Makes sense.
If this game is close, the chances are that the Chiefs will win. But the thing is that I don't think the game will be close. I think the players, no, I say close, I'm talking about, I think the Eagles are going to be more than 7-point victors with this game because the defensive line is so strong and, a few other factors in this game. I don't think that their secondary is going to be able to hold up the way that they're playing football against our receivers. So that's an X factor as well. Now, let's look at it. Let's look at it from a different perspective as well. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I had the pleasure of breaking down the Chiefs. And you know something, Q? Andy is running the same damn plays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, listen, I was like you see games throughout the year, and you pay attention to the team. You pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to them. But when you sit there in an in-depth study, it literally they're the same plays that we ran. These are the same plays that he ran in Philadelphia. Right?
Yeah.
Like ran the same stuff. The quarterback, no offense to anybody, no offense to Donovan, no offense to Mike, no offense to Nick or whoever he had, no offense to any of those guys. The quarterback can do more. That's the difference.
Yeah.
The difference is the quarterback can see more, and he's definitely an extension of the head coach and has a great feel for the game. So a lot of the post reads that were open back in Philadelphia, this quarterback can get to it a little bit better, a little bit quicker. Not sometimes. If it's there, it's going up.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So what that means is do you want to get in here? Because I'm about to go a little bit further.
No,
All
I
right.
mean,
All right. So
go
what
ahead.
so what that means is this. Coach Reed has 3 ways to neutralize a pass rush, because that's where the game could be won for us. He has 3 ways to neutralize the pass rush. Number 1, he's going to screen us to death.
Yeah.
Like Travis Kelce, Pacheco, receiver screens. And I'm talking about a variety of different screens. We're talking about middle screens. We're talking about shovel passes. We're talking about tight end screens. We're talking about boot throwback screens, like tunnel screens. So that's one way he can defeat the pass rush, screens. The second way is that he moves the pocket. Even to this day with Mahomes, he moves the pocket, meaning like our system, when we watch the Eagles, we don't see sprint out right and left much.
Yep.
You will see sprints and boots, mainly sprints though, where his back is not turned. Yep. Mainly sprints to get one side of the field, throwing the ball to, get it out quick as can. And they'll do it 8 to 10 times a game if need be. They'll sprint them out if they feel like they can't get to, if the pass rush is getting there.
Yep.
Okay, so they'll screen us, they'll sprint, and then the king of max protection, Andy will chip with everybody. He will chip with the running backs, and you saw it in this in the past 2 games that they played. The D line was getting home, against the Bengals. They were starting to get home. Max protection, 8-man protection. 2 people out on the route, and you give them enough time down the field. Those underneath defenders. See, that's the key with the 2-man route. The 2-man route has to go beyond the second level.
Yep.
You have to get up to the third level, and they hit big plays down the field running 2-man route concepts, and that can possibly happen, right? So those are ways that Andy Reid's going to try to figure out a way to stop Hassan Reddick. And you best believe he's not going to pull Kyle Shanahan just to get my quarterback hurt. And even and that's one way. And in order to neutralize a player, he's going to see 2 or 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hassan Reddick's going to see 2 or 3 people when he's rushing.
I agree. And then to add to that, and that's what I was gonna the only thing I'm gonna add to that too is that this game, I think both offenses are gonna put up points. I think this game is gonna come down to both defensive coordinators and how they're gonna choose to attack. I already know for a fact Spagnuolo is gonna be bringing the house. He's gonna be doing double A gaps. He's gonna be coming zone blitzing, man blitzing. He's going to let it all hang out there. I already have a feeling that that's going to happen. He's going to be an attack first type mentality, which can go one way. It can go really good for the Chiefs or it can be really bad. So we'll see there. And on the other hand, with Gannon, the thing that I am the most nervous about is his reluctance to change up looks, his reluctance to add blitzes, add pressure at times, and his reliance completely on the pass rush. Because as you just pointed out, Andy's going to have a plan for just a straight up pass rush from his defensive front. He's going to have to take some chances. Now, you don't want to take too many chances against Pat Mahomes and Kelce and guys like that. But you cannot go into this game thinking, even if the Eagles have a lead, let's say they have a 14-point lead, right? You cannot call the dogs off against this team because they are going to keep chucking it and they're going to keep scoring. They're going to keep attacking no matter what the score is. So I think this is going to be more a battle of defensive coordinators, how they plan to attack each offense, how they're going to be smart and aggressive at certain times, and how they're going to try to take away each team's best stars. And if the Eagles are able to, on third downs, be able to win at least half of those third downs against Kelce, and force Patty Mahomes to look somewhere else, maybe get a couple hits on him, change up the coverage every now and then, and slow down this run game. I think that the Eagles will have a chance. But again, this is going to be strictly, in my opinion, it's going to be Gannon versus Spagnuolo and what they're going to bring to the table. Just like
that's a great analysis. And here's the thing that kind of helps us this could possibly help us and this, I want to get your feedback from this, and this is where it starts to become. Jonathan Gannon is a very passive defensive coordinator, a bend but don't break, don't let him get in the end zone type of defensive coordinator. Andy is not known to be the most patient coach.
Yeah.
That can be in our benefit, right? That can be a big coaching advantage for us because historically, Andy doesn't have the patience to continue to run the football.
That's true.
Historically,
Yeah.
right? At some point, he's going to want to go down the field.
Yeah.
And if we can keep him dunking it down, will he get impatient? Will Patrick Mahomes and his gunslinger mentality, will he get impatient? Now, he's shown a lot more maturity this year in comparison to last year, where teams were dropping 8. That's where the Bengals were beating them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? Because they were making him play patient. So that right there could be an advantage for us, Eagles. A huge advantage is if Coach Reed comes into this game wanting to chuck the ball and they're getting completions, but they're not scoring.
You already know.
You know, that can be an advantage for us unless they're consuming a large portion of the clock. The only way they can do that is that the game is passing won't consume a large portion of the clock because you have incompletions. But running the football on us, and usually the teams that we struggle with have run the football pretty good on us. Was effective in managing time of possession and along those natures. So that can be a coaching advantage for us in this ball game. Also, when it comes to I'm curious to see how Spagnuolo is going to play Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious to see how the run game is gonna what's going to be a strategy to read option. I'm curious to see. I think that'll be huge. Do they have fast linebacker? Gay's pretty fast.
Yeah.
But
I think Bolton's more of a downhill thumper type. But yeah.
So it can't be what the Niners did and use somebody as a spy. I think it has to be what the Bears did, is to send the defensive end for the ball carrier and loop people back to the quarterback.
You have to. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Right. You have to force the pull every time.
Yeah, and then loop, and they were stunting the opposite direction as the defensive end. The defensive end will come down and crash the running back, and then defensive linemen were stunning the opposite way toward the quarterback, and the linebackers could scrape over the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so like what we highlighted too, another just a little tip for fans if they're watching. If you see the Eagles start off in the pistol, like what I kind of highlighted last week, that's what they're doing. They're putting the back in the pistol because a lot of teams will set their stunts based off where the back is. So if the back is offset to the quarterback's left, they already know I'm forcing the pull. We're slanting away from the back. So what they're doing now when they're putting them in pistol, they make sure that the team cannot set their front and set their stunts, and then they shift them and then they go from there. So I think they have a game plan for that. We'll see. I'm interested, just like you, to see how they're gonna attack it, man. It's gonna be fun.
No, it'll be a fun game. There's a few other key like factors in the game. Can the Chiefs young cornerbacks hold up against our receivers?
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at the guys that are playing in this game, Trent McDuffie, young guy. Ladarius Sneed is questionable. He's a little bit older than most. Jalen Watson has been in the game playing a bunch for them. So like those Joshua Williams, like a lot of these guys are very, very young, and they're going to be asked to stick AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Goddard and these other guys. Are they going to be able to hold up against them? And I just don't see that being a a long-term solution. Here's the thing, though. Against the Bengals, this would happen. The Bengals, the defensive coordinator decided to bracket and stitch not every play, but on third downs and in critical situation, they would bracket Jamar Chase. They were like bracketing him, especially if he was outside, he was bracketed, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody else was man to man. And the safety kind of the other safety was kind of like in the middle a little bit. So the guys on the opposite side, if they won, which they did a few times, made the game easier. So if AJ Brown comes out and is destroying somebody, you're going to see them bracket AJ Brown, which is going to leave one-on-one coverage for everybody else. And you saw T. Higgins come up with a really big play in the end zone for the Bengals. They couldn't do it consistently enough, but there's plays to be made by everybody else if they decide to use that type of defense. The only problem with that type of defense is that you have Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
It's the only problem with that type of defense. You have Jalen Hurts. Joe Burrow hurt them running the ball. Jalen Hurts can like win the game running the football. So I don't necessarily know if that's a strategy that will be used. I know that he zone blitzes a bunch, and they do a great job matching and underneath coverage. And their linebackers get into the line of scrimmage on all of these blitzes in order to confuse the protection, and then they pop out.
Yeah. I think I agree. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to use some kind of bracketing coverages at some point. And maybe it's only on third down, maybe it's only on certain situations. And it could be possible, knowing Spags, that he might say, hey, for one play, we can live with a one-on-one outside with AJ, right? But we notice that on certain downs and certain formations, they like to go to Devontae, right? So he could be a bracketed. Dallas Goedert could end up being a bracket, but I do think we're going to see that. We're going to have to, because there's no way in certain situations they're going to be able to hold up for a full game with these young corners all across the board in one-on-one situations. And you can't just play zone all day either, right? You can't play man. You don't have to. And this is, to me, this is the difference. Like you're saying earlier, the experience factor comes in, right? Not just at the defensive coordinator position, but like all the coaches on that defensive staff. They're going to be able to diagnose and analyze quickly and be able to come up with a plan on the fly. And so it's going to be interesting. I'm getting more excited as we're watching it, because like the cerebral part of the game is going to come into it, and we as former players are going to be able to kind of see it and experience it live. It's going to be fun, man.
No, it'll be a fun time. Here's a part to your point, is that right? Say they play the Eagles in man a little bit more. They're going to have somebody to account for Jalen in those situations, right? So they may not be able to have the best pass rush, but they're going to have they need a person to account for Jalen. If that person is successful, it forces Jalen Hurts to be accurate. That's what man coverage does. And over the last 3 or 4 games, AJ Brown's target has been under 50% catching percentage. We haven't been hitting them at a high rate.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, he's 7 for 14. And then if you include the last couple of games of the regular season, it's under 50%. And for your number one receiver, that shouldn't be. And it's not just because, okay, AJ Brown didn't uncover, is that him and Jalen are not hitting each other at the rate that they were hitting each other earlier in the year. And I wonder if that's the area of concern, because Jalen Hurts had a 66.5, completion percentage throughout the regular season. Now he's down to 63% in the playoffs. Like, so it's going in the opposite direction, as opposed to Patrick Mahomes is 67%, and now he's 69% in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So you like so those two have to up their game and hit these plays in order for us to have a shot. Because if Spagnuolo can figure out that he can go man, we can contain him running, and he's not accurate. That's not a favorable situation for us at all. Okay,
Right.
so he has to trend positively in the other direction. All right, we've beaten this horse up now. Let me make one more point. One more point. This game can get ugly because the Eagles have the potential with our D line and our offensive line to make this a bloodbath. The Chiefs doesn't have that. Like, there's no circumstance, and there's no circumstances that I'm looking at it from my football mind, and I say that, okay, the Chiefs can dominate us up front in any form or fashion.
Yeah.
Can they beat us on the back end? Yeah. But can they just consistently run the football on us at against our will? No.
Mm-mm.
Can they continually protect us and just give Patrick Mahomes all day without we have the advantage. So if those two groups dominate, man, if they dominate, this could be bad. Like, it could be bad. It could be real bad. Yeah, because it doesn't matter if your quarterback is really good and he can't. We saw it with Tampa. He running around for his life. And if we can run the football on our time and he doesn't get the ball as much,
it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
That's what we need to see, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. We kind of beat that up. All right. So
hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I got to ask you a question. Did you see? And I know we're going back, but did you see what Brandon Ayuk said this week?
Oh man, listen, Brandon Ayuk, Julian Love, and anybody else that got something to say that's idiotic after you got it handed to you. Look, man, let me tell you something. Your quarterback getting hurt wasn't a fluke accident. It was a bad scheme that was brought to you by your head coach and offensive coordinator. And it ended up getting one quarterback hurt. No, two quarterbacks hurt. It wasn't happenstance. The guys up front beat the scheme and made you pay for it. This wasn't lightning striking and you guys were unfortunate. You got your ass handed to you up front where the game matters most. You're a secondary position. And guess what? If the offensive line can't protect, your position group is not worth crap. We could have exposed them. The Chiefs could possibly expose some things we thought we could expose. I know you did. But the defensive line matters the most. So, oh man, we were shaking them all game. Yeah, you would have won in 7-on-7. We playing football in the NFL. Stop it.
I love it, man. Oh my God.
Go ahead.
It was just the audacity for me. I'm like, oh my God, okay, all right. I don't remember, and I hate trying to sound like the old man. In our day we did the, but it's like I've never seen a team, especially this Niner team. I've never seen a team with so much animosity after, like, I guess not animosity, but just talking so much trash. Like, you guys got your butts whooped, and all I hear is whining. It's a bunch of whining babies, and I've never seen this out of a professional team in my life before, in any sport, even in the NBA, which a lot of people may consider soft, whatever. I've never seen any team in the history of sports act the way that this Niners team has done. And, they're crying over sour grapes and all, crying over spilled milk, or however you say it. Yeah. It's just beyond me. And I'm actually glad this team, the way that they act, they don't even deserve to represent the NFC. So I'm glad they got their asses whooped.
Yeah, 100%. It still didn't stop you from getting 148 yards on you, and your defense's average is like 60 yards. Like, again, like, we doubled what you guys have for a season as far as rushing yards against you guys. We doubled that. We had 3 walk-in touchdowns. You can say whatever you want, and they were 7 yards or more. 3 walk-in touchdowns on you. That's unheard of in the National Football League. our offensive line had Greenlaw on skates. Fred Warner was following Jalen Hurts. We were dominating you guys up front. So it's going to happen regardless. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Our defensive line dominated your offensive line in scheme, and our offensive line started to weigh on you and dominate your defensive line. All the other stuff don't matter. Did you guys did we get a favorable call with the Devontae catch? Yeah, it was a favorable call. The referee wasn't cheating. The referee saw his back and couldn't see it, and nobody else is in position. That's why when you see the other team go up doing all of this, it's a big play. At the least, call timeout so your guy can see the play again.
That's it.
The referee didn't cheat you. Call timeout or throw the challenge flag. Stop it, man. All right. Pissing me off in here.
Thank you. I just had to know what your thoughts were.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to this. Mojo is building the sports stock market where you can invest in your favorite players, invest in what you know. Turn your sports knowledge into real money with Mojo, the sports stock market. Real stats, real value shares entitle you to a guaranteed payout based on career-ending stats. No off days, no off seasons. Share prices rise and fall constantly in real time based on career long projections. Cash out anytime. Build a portfolio, buy and sell on your terms. Every play, every game, or every season. Mojo is available in New Jersey and on iOS. By downloading the app, you have a chance to win up to $10,000 in free shares of player stock. Click the link in the description for a chance to win up to $10,000 in free shares of player stock. Must be 21 years or over and physically located in New Jersey to trade on Mojo. Have a gambling problem? Help is available at 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, this week Mojo picks. Like, just think about this statement right here. Look at the audacity and the disrespect that's going on around the National Football League. Mojo, I'm talking to you. Here we are. Lamar Jackson's share price, $66.07. Trevor Lawrence's share price, $64.05. So they're saying Lamar Jackson is going to have a better career and is more valuable than Trevor Lawrence. I concur. I agree with that. Jalen Hurts is lower than both of them, $58.65, which means the market thinks that Jackson and Lawrence will each finish with a better career than Jalen Hurts and have longer outcome, better projections for career by those two guys. Is Jalen Hurts being disrespected?
He is absolutely being disrespected. The stuff he's done this year, let alone what he's done is in his entire career. All he does is beat the odds, right? So, even if they put it at $58.65, which is here, I think he's gonna surpass that. Because every time he comes up to a barrier, he breaks through it and he succeeds. I think this is disrespectful. And although I think it's disrespectful, it's actually good because it's at the lowest price. So you might want to jump on that and invest that $58.65 and get in while it's low. Because after they win the Super Bowl, it's about to skyrocket, baby.
I got my money on Jalen for this one. Right? Because he definitely won the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson hasn't sniffed the Super Bowl. Trevor Lawrence just made the playoffs this year. It's amazing to me that he was out the league last year.
Yep.
So
show you what coaching do.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's very, very disrespectful to Jalen Hurts. And you know what? I'm not going to say the station, but a very notable sports analyst didn't have Jalen Hurts in this top 5. Had a bunch of guys in there. And Trevor Lawrence,
after the season, or are you talking preseason?
After the season.
Oh man.
After the season.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
After the season. The season was over. It was the top 5 quarterbacks in the playoffs. And Jalen Hurts wasn't in there. Or maybe he was 5th. But Trevor Lawrence, he wasn't in there. Trevor Lawrence was in there.
Wow. See, that's disrespect, man. See, but you know what? I love it because, like I said, every time he just keep going up. So just
You
keep
going,
doubting him. Keep doubting him. You
yeah,
know, just go ahead. Y'all keep doubting. He's just gonna keep
yeah.
rising above, right?
Put him in there. Put him in there. Put two in there.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
man,
and Trevor Lawrence in there.
Two ain't gonna know where he's at in a
Oh,
couple years.
oh no,
Hey,
don't
let
say
me
that.
ask, let me
I hope not. Stop it.
let me
Stop
ask this. I know I shouldn't have said that. Father,
it.
forgive me for that. Do you think that Lamar's price is tied to where you think he's gonna stay in Baltimore, or you think he's gonna try to go somewhere else?
He can't get out of Baltimore if they don't want him to, because he still doesn't he have another year that they can
They franchise him this year, right? So
I think
I
you get
think they can only
2 years,
do it
right?
once now.
Is it once?
I don't know. The rules have changed with the last CBA, so I'm not sure. If they, then they probably
Both parties are like not Lamar hasn't done anything. So let's say that. The Ravens aren't completely wrong. The Ravens
he can
are the
he can be
Ravens aren't
franchised.
completely wrong with the thought process of saying, you know what, Lamar may not hold as much value outside of our offense
Hmm.
because everything is built around him. But they're wrong in that you're only as valuable as, you know, it's not about what you deem value, it's what the market deems valuable. Right. So if Deshaun Watson goes and get a guaranteed contract after having all the allegations that he's had and he's going to Cleveland, what you think Lamar Jackson's going to want?
Yeah.
And now you as an organization got to say, okay, either Cleveland is nuts and we're not doing that, Lamar, or you take the chance on him being disgruntled. But for me, Lamar Jackson shouldn't play. I wouldn't play. No, I would, me personally, but
If you were
the
him,
the evolved Jason that understands it's okay to be the bad guy and to be in a situation, I wouldn't play.
mm, I agree.
Yeah.
Because
Or well, let me say that. Let me say this the right way. I'm showing up to work, but my nerve is going to be damaged this week. My toe is going to hurt next week. My elbow is going to have problems the following week. I'll have a crazy twitch in my left eye the next week. It's going to go through a bunch of diagnoses the entire year on why I can't play the entire year. Because I don't want you to take my money, but rest assured that I'm gonna have an ailment every week. COVID just came back. It was a bunch of stuff that's going to transpire in 2023 season.
there it is. Excuse me. Oh my God.
All
I love
right.
it. I love it.
All right, let's get back. All right, let's go to the fans' questions, okay, so we can get out of here.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
I'll start this one. This one's from Robert C. Ever since the Eagles picked up Sue and Joseph midseason, I've been wondering if it wouldn't make sense for a defensive lineman nearing the end of his career to avoid a 17-game schedule, stay in shape through September and October, and then join a contender in November. Could this be a trend in the future? Might we see J.J. Watt coming out of retirement next Halloween to try to get a ring for a contender?
Definitely looking like a great strategy for older players. I will
Yeah.
say that. I will say this is looking very good because these guys can play. Like, this is the thing. The NFL is so funny because we just think that these dudes just can't play at all anymore. They're just like, no, they're a little bit older, so they can play in spurts.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
got that 22-year-old injury, it's different. You can't play with 22-year-old the entire game, but you go out there like I remember playing my dad in basketball. When I was 15, 16, I would give him the work if we played all day. You give him 2, 3 plays, he gave me the business.
That's
So
it.
it's the
That's it.
same thing. So I think it's a very Robert, I think it's a good strategy for most teams when they have a need to think about a player that can but the thing is that the player has to be, they can't be retired in their mind,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because these guys weren't retired in their mind. They just didn't have many options, and they probably didn't want to go through training camp and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they were still working out. It's the difference between a player that's retired in his mind. I think JJ Watt may be retired in his mind. He like, man, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
And a dude that's retired in his mind is going to be off the coast of Italy somewhere, chilling. Hey
Yeah.
JJ, you want to play? Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
It's like when I retired, Spagnola called me when he was with the Giants. I think I might have said this story on here, but he called me and he was like, "Hey, how you doing, Q?" I'm like, "I'm doing good." He's like, hey, I'm trying to see if you want to come out, for training camp with the Giants, and we need some help and blah blah blah." And the first thing I was like, and he was like, "Yes." He's like, "See, I can tell by that noise you just made that you're done, right? You don't want to come back no more. You
Exactly.
just know when you're done. You're just ready to be done." I don't know, man. I'm about to hit this barbecue right now, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, I told the Falcons I think about it. Man, he just called me talking about stuff. Hey man, the Falcons want to bring you out. I'm like, really? Let me think about it.
I'll call you.
Yeah, I'll call you back if I something. Yeah. I'm like, nah, forget that.
Oh my god.
That's funny. All right. Let's get to the next question. All right.
All right.
Question from is that Lionel L or Lionel? My question for y'all is, how come a lot of people criticize the Eagles for saying they have an easy road to the Super Bowl when other teams had the same opportunities to get free agents we got? The Eagles chose to get better and are now winning. They don't get the respect that they deserve. It's frustrating for a fan. Do you know if players are listening to the outside media and use it as motivation for games?
I mean, we just went through 2 or 3 instances where it was just blatant disrespect. I mean, we talked about Ayuk and Jordan Love, 2 teams,
Julian Love.
Julian Love, sorry,
Julian Love, yeah.
that got absolutely obliterated by this team. And they came out after the game, after getting their asses whooped and talking shit, talking trash, excuse my language. And then, we're talking about, even with the Mojo read, where people were considering Jalen. We're talking about on ESPN. I think it was ESPN, or I don't know what it was, but guys putting Jalen at the bottom of the top 5 quarterbacks. So the disrespect is real, and I don't understand where it comes from. And I'm assuming that it comes from the fact that this team, I mean, even with Sirianni was getting disrespected, but it comes from this team, first of all, being put together so well, so many stars on this team. And I think teams are jealous of the ability for this team to get along well and to play together in such a short amount of time. And it's kind of it's a weird one for me, because I don't understand how you can criticize a team that's been put together, that's coached well, that is successful each week, that plays hard, that has a defensive front that gets after, that has an offensive front that gets after. Like, this is what you want to do, is build a team this way that competes and goes to get out there and plays hard for each other each week. Like, as a football fan, this is what you want to see, right? This is what you want to go out there and experience. And so I'm guessing it's because a lot of people in the NFL just hate Eagle fans because of whatever reason, and they don't want to see this team successful. But it's just ridiculous. The disrespect has to stop. And I don't know. I mean, I
They
think
gotta win the
some
game.
what's that? What'd you say?
They gotta win the game.
Yeah,
They gotta
that's it.
win a game. And the thing that's just the just go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
No, that was it. I mean, that's all it is. They
No,
listen to the outside media, but it's just fueling the fire, man. Go ahead.
yeah,
You
like
said-
I agree. Here's the thing. People that know the NFL know that the Eagles roster is superior to everybody else's. You will hear
Mhm.
every GM say that. You will hear most scouting people say that, right? So
Mhm.
it's not that at all. So I bet you the Chiefs are looking at this game as the underdog. The coaching
Yeah.
staff is looking at this game as like, yo, we got to play our A game. That's the message to the team. The message to the team is like, oh, this team is overachievers. Oh, this team we can beat. Like, no. The Chiefs' message to the team is that, yo, we have to play at this level. If we don't, this team has the possibility of beating the hell out of us. That's their mindset coming into the game.
Mm-hmm.
That this is more than a formidable opponent. Matter of fact, they're the favorite.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that it's coming from like coaching or it's coming from football people. It may come from some players that like Ayuk that may see a weakness or something and it's like, oh, this team is not that, whatever. Like, no, like I don't think that the players should focus on that. But our team does figure out a way to find motivation. So I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure they're looking for somebody with the Chiefs to say something to this week. You know what I mean?
You,
So
they ain't gonna
they don't
say nothing.
supposed to listen. They don't supposed to listen, but it's inevitable to. We've been underdogs forever. Nobody likes Philly.
I don't get it.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I know Jalen, he don't listen to that stuff, but you get home and you on Saturday on a Monday, Victory
Mm.
Monday, you turn on ESPN and they rate in the top 5 and they put you at the bottom. It I would be a little bit upset about. I would internalize that. No?
Yeah. Well, he listen. Jalen Hurts is one game away from a
Yeah.
worldwide kiss my ass type. Look, Jalen Hurts, that may be your campaign. Listen, you tell your marketing people that you got to campaign something about kiss my ass and Jalen Hurts. I'm telling you, it'll blow up.
Oh my god. I can see like instead of the bobblehead dolls, it's just he just mooning
Yeah,
people.
Jalen Hurts, you know how to sell out in Philly for sure.
Trademark it.
Yeah, I'm telling you
All
right
right.
now. All
All right,
right.
last one, man. We can on topic. All right, this is from WCBJJ. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Obviously we saw the 49ers defensive unit get mentally broken. My question is for Jason. Is there a game you played when you could
Mm.
feel it and you could sense the defense break mentally? That's a good question.
Um, the the game that comes to mind is the 2000 when we went to NFC Championship game against the Cardinals. We lost in Phoenix to the Cardinals, but the game prior to that was the Giants. And we figured out a way to run the ball from bunch and use me to cut off the backside in, like from like the well position, which is like right next to the defensive end. And we
Mm-hmm.
were running like 94 and 95, and we were running for like 6 yards a pop, 5, 6 yards a pop. And I remember because that team had Super Bowl pedigree because they won it the year before. They beat the Patriots the year before.
Oh, okay, yeah. So okay, that would have been
So
2008.
yeah, 2008 playoffs. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember us running the ball the last two games against them in 4 minutes and winning the game in 4 minutes. And I just remember looking at their faces like, and that's why I was like, dude, this is our team. We should win the Super Bowl. I was like, because these are Super Bowl champions. And I'm looking at, Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan, OC, and other guys just like throwing their hair down, like we cannot stop them from running the football in a 4 minute situation. We can't stop this thing. So yeah, I've seen it happen before, and it's very very demoralizing when you're built as a defensive line to stop something, and that's when it usually happens. It usually happens. The most demoralization happens when somebody can run the ball on you when they want to.
Yeah.
Like that right there is that's like somebody just walking up to you and just snatching the stuff out of your hand. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
that's the
It is. It's
that's
like
the
this random dude walking down the street and you got some food and he just take it from you. And you like you can't do nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I've been on that. I've been on that end of it when I was with the Rams in St. Louis, and it was not good. But
Oh my.
I don't want to rehash that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So
let's end
there's
on a positive note.
yeah, there's times. I don't think that the Niners defense was completely broken. I just think that the team was discouraged because their core they realized they had no way to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That 4 minute, dude. That 4 minute, serious. If y'all can keep running in that 4 minutes, it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Yeah. All right, you
All right,
guys.
man.
Eagles, Chiefs predictions. My prediction is the Eagles will win this football game 33-24.
Okay. 33-24. So bet the over is what you're saying.
33-24. That's me.
All right. I got I got the Eagles winning 28-21. I think that it's gonna be high scoring. I mean, that's relatively high scoring, but I think that these defenses are gonna be so uptight and so locked in. I think that it's not gonna be a crazy high scoring game. It's gonna be kind of in the middle of the pack. So I got the Eagles winning 28-21.
Yep. I got my birds 33-24.
I like it.
33-24. Hey, you guys, we've had an amazing time this year. Thank you guys for tuning into the Q&A podcast. We'll have more content coming up. I don't necessarily know, in a couple of weeks or so. We may have a post-game show next week, but we're starting to wind up for the remaining of this 2022-2023 season. We'll let you know when content is coming out. I'm sure we'll do a post-game show to talk about what happens at the Super Bowl next week. But just want to say thank you guys for all that you do by tuning into the show. To Adam, to Jeff, to Josh, and everyone that's responsible inside the verse. Thank you guys. Q, you got the last word.
Yeah, as always, man, I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun time. Um, I'm just remembering when I was in the Super Bowl, we actually played in it. The halftime show was Paul McCartney. This year I get to go see Rihanna halftime show. Let's
Yeah.
go. So I'm excited, man.
Go ahead.
Let's
I
go,
want to
Birds.
be
Love
in
you guys. Love everybody. Thank you.
there.
Appreciate it. We out.